Hello YouTube, Goddard Radio Mosky here again with another beer review for you, as is usual. I'm still at my friend's house in Bamberg, so we're going to have a look at another one of the Bamberg beers before I go home. So this time we're going to have a look at Privatbrauerei Fässla Bamberg. And so you can see the beer here, and it's called Zwergla. And Fässla in German, really, it just means dwarf. And we do have the local Franconian dialect here, which is quite different from German, if you like. So if you're wondering exactly where I am in Germany, Bamberg is sort of to the northwest of Nuremberg. I think it's maybe about an hour or so away. I came in by train from the other direction. But it's a really, really beautiful city, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, proper old Germany, and we've got 10 different breweries in this city, and it's a really awesome place to come and visit. You really have to do it. And the Franconia region, where this city actually is located, it's Franconia and Bavaria. There's apparently a bit of a local joke about that, but Franconia has the highest density of breweries per head of the population of any region in Germany. So if you love beer, go and visit Franconia and Germany. So as is usual with my beer reviews, I'll take you through a brief history of the brewery, just tell you a little bit about it. This is quite a short history for this one. The brewery website is in the video description there, so check that out if you are interested. And there's also links to my other Zwergla reviews when they'll come in the future, and of course to the other Bamberg beer reviews as well. So check those out if you are interested. And if you are simply interested in the tasting of this particular beer, just feel free to go on towards the latter part of the video, and you will catch that particular segment. So, the brew house for this guy is located on the Königstrasse, and it's not far from the Hauptbahnhof in Bamberg. Basically, you head toward, you follow the signs for the Altstaden, and the first right before the bridge over the canal, you take it down there, and you should see the brewery there. It's quite well marked with this guy. You can't miss this Zwergla dwarf, or so it's a really, really cool place to go. I think I was there before. I believe it was 2011 that I was there, and it's one of these really old school, nice wooden building things. So come to Bamberg and check out all the beer. You won't be disappointed if you're a beer lover. But the Fässla Brewery was founded back in the year 1649, and this was the first year of peace after the 30 Years' War. And their brewery building facade apparently is very typical of the 1950s, and this is when beer would be delivered by horse and cart, of course, or the 1850s. I'm not sure, it just said the 50s, so maybe that's a little typo on their website, I'm not certain. But apparently you can tell that the facade is from this area because of the size of the entrance doors which lead to the covered courtyard, which is called the Schwem, and it's actually quite a funny joke with this brewery as well. This area apparently isn't actually in the pub, and the Fässla Brewery like to joke that businessmen can come and have a beer or two on the way home from work, and then if their wives ask them if they've been to the pub, they can say that they haven't, and they would actually be telling the truth because the Schwem isn't actually part of the pub. But the walls in the Schwem have actually been painted with two really nice murals, and I do remember these when I was there before. But one shows the historical town centre of Bamberg, and the other shows the historical brewing process as it would have happened in Bamberg. And like I said before, we've got 10 different breweries in this city, so there's a really rich brewing history in this town, of course. And the brewery also has a guest house, and you can buy a number of souvenirs with this little dwarf guy on them as well. So go and check out the Fässla Brewery if you are actually in Bamberg, sorry. And I really recommend you do it. Honestly, this is one of the most beautiful places in Germany, so get your backsides here and have a little look at it. But to list the other beers for you, and I should say before we do this, all the other beers, if you like, they have the same kind of label, but it's just a different colour. So from the Fässla Brewery, you get the Gold Pils, which has the green label, just like this one. You've got this guy, the Zwergla, which as you can see is the yellow one. You can get two different Weizlas, and you can get the Hell, or the Naturtrüb, however you want to describe it, which is the blue one, and you can get the Dunkel one, which is purple. You get the lager beer, which has the red label, and you also get the Bamberginator, which is a brown one. And apparently this is the strongest beer you can get in Bamberg. So by alcohol by volume, it's 8.5%. So quite a cool one to try. Now, hopefully I can maybe get a bottle of that, but I don't think I've got enough room to take it home with me from Bamberg. So I'll need to. It's an excuse to come back, but not that I would really need one when my friends are here and you've got all the beer and stuff, But let's get on with the tasting of this guy. This one is a 6% bottom fermented Dunkel beer, and all ingredients apparently are locally sourced, and they have their own water well too, so you get a bit of a unique Bamberg taste in this one. I'll just bring up the camera and let you have a little look at the label of this one. As I mentioned, you can see the cool little dwarf there pushing the barrel, and you can see on the back there's some nice pictures of Bamberg. You can see the dome just here, just making sure I get my finger right. You can see the Rathaus, the townhouse in Germany. I always find that funny in Germany that it's called Rathaus, because that's where the politicians are, so it's kind of aptly named, if you like. This is the area, I believe it's called Little Venice. because it's the nice little Venice style houses along the river there. It's a really cool place. Bamberg, like I say, really beautiful, and as you can hopefully see from those photos there, it really is a beautiful place in Germany, one of the real places that's been untouched. But this guy is a 6% Dunkel beer, so let's get it open and get on with the tasting. So let's see if I can pop this. Yeah, there we are. Pop the guy open, and let's get it out and into the glass. So really looking forward to giving this one a go. I can't actually remember what these guys' beer tastes like. As I'm pouring it out here, I'll just leave it down a little bit so I can swirl it and get a kind of get a bit of the aromas out. It's got a really odd kind of earthy aroma to it. It's really nice actually. Very sweet malty, a lot of caramel, and definitely some kind of doughy yeast in there as well, I would say. There's something just quite unique about this. It has a really good bit of earthy character. It really reminds me of, it smells a little bit like some sort of fabric in a way. It's got that sort of yeasty character mixed in with the kind of, I don't know how to describe that actually. It's a really earthy and yeasty character that's coming out of this one. But you can pick out some grassy character in here as well, and there is nuts as well, definitely some nuts. Maybe even just a little bit of dark fruit sweetness, but the grassy kind of aroma in the background is quite, definitely is quite prominent. But if you smell it, it definitely just has something a little bit unique about the aroma there, and I think it's kind of earthy yeast character as well. But it reminds me maybe a little bit of some sort of cotton or wool or something like that. It has a little bit of a smell like that, the natural stuff, not the kind of fake manufactured thing. It's got a nice natural fibre smell to it actually, really really cool. You can just see there's a slightly off-white head on this guy. It's completely clear. It's a nice maybe coppery amber colour, I think is a good way to describe that. Not a lot of kind of carbonation coming up to the top, just some small bubbles there. And you can just see like a nice finger of a sort of very frothy but slightly bumpy head as well, but definitely an off-white head there. So let's give this guy a taste and see how we get on. Cheers. It's quite unique. There is, like I was picking up from the aroma, there's a really unique character to this one, and it's a nice yeasty, and it's got the earthy character and the yeasty flavours with this one are really mixed together, and I've never quite tasted anything like that before. But it's quite sweet at the same time. There's definitely a good bit of sort of caramel character in there, and there is just a little hint of underlying kind of raisins or some sort of dark fruit like that. This is a really, I've never tasted a beer that has this kind of yeasty and earthy character to it. It's really really good actually, but you're getting a good bit of caramel, sort of brown sugar flavours from the malt, and it's slightly roasted as well, very very slightly though, more of a toasted character than a roasty one. And obviously you'll know Bamberg is famous for the Rauch beers, but this has a nice little bit of roasted character to it, although the main flavour in this one is the earthy character, and I really like beers that can do the earthy character very well, and this one certainly does that. But yeah, a good bit of sweet caramel flavour, some slightly roasted character to the malts, and on the finish, it's got a nice, just subtle hint of grassy character. The earthy flavours are kind of pushing it out a little bit, but it does have just that little bit of grassiness on the end that makes it quite fresh actually. The mouthfeel, it's definitely a mid-bodied one. It's very very smooth. The carbonation is actually very very light on this guy, but it's definitely, it has a nice freshness about it, a very kind of slightly oily mouthfeel, but it's quite wet at the same time. It's not watery, it's a nice oily mouthfeel, so it has that kind of, what a dark beer I think should always have, a nice full mouthfeel to it. This guy is it's refreshing and it's full at the same time, so they've combined it very well. I think they've got the mouthfeel of this one perfect. And it's quite interesting, I think. My friend tells me that this isn't the best beer you can get from this brewery, but I think this one really, it's very unique in that sense. Like I say, I've never come across one that has this nice balance between the kind of earthy character and the yeast before, and it gives it a very very unique flavour. While it's also quite wet during the the main body of the beer as well, I would say that it's actually quite dry on the finish, and it's actually quite low on the bitterness as well. But this is a really well balanced one actually. It's got quite a unique flavour, and I really think it's an interesting one. You know, if you get the chance to come to Bamberg, give this guy a try, because like I said, I've tried a hell of a lot of German beers when I've been here, and I've never quite come across one that's like this before. So the Zwergla from the Fässla Brewery, give it a go, definitely. But yeah, overall I would say this guy is a really interesting beer. It's a bit more mild in flavour, that's one thing I would perhaps say. It is a bit more of a mild flavour than some of the ones you can find in Bamberg, but like I say, this earthy, yeasty character to it is very unique. And I like it. I like beer. Beer, I think, that has the kind of more subtle flavours but mixes them really well is just as interesting as the stuff that has the really strong and really sweet flavours. And the whole one of the biggest things with beer and the most difficult things to do is to blend it really well, and the Fässla Brewery, in my opinion, have done that this time, and it's a really unique and interesting beer. Like I say, my friend tells me that this isn't the best one that they do, and that I should try the others as well, so hopefully I can return to the Fässla Brewery at some point in the future and review some more beers for you, because this one's really unique, and going by this, the other ones I think will be very good, and there's no beer in Bamberg that's going to let you down. The place is a very historic brewing culture, and all the beer in this part of Germany is really, really good. So if you do happen to have tried this beer before, please let me know in the comments section your own thoughts on this beer. I hope you found my kind of ramblings about this beer informative. I've really, really liked this one, very unique, like I say. Check it out, and check out the brewery as well. The website is in the video description there. Let me know in the comments section your own thoughts if you do happen to have tried this yourself, and please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Help my channel grow, and hopefully you're all enjoying my series of beer reviews. But thanks again for your support, and I'll catch you soon with another one. Cheers.